Howdy, buddy.
Howdy.
Ready to do some stuff with this?
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys missed the last video, Chris bought a truck. It's better than that rusty piece of shit over there. And it's actually really nice. It was 700 bucks, has a 355 in it, allegedly. Way too big of a carb, 4L60. It sounds good. There's some sort of cam in it. And let's see, it's Wednesday right now. Roadkill Nights starts Friday and it goes to Saturday. It only needs a few little things. We're gonna see if we can get it like running and driving good enough to take it over there. It needs, we'll probably swap steering columns because it has another one, and hopefully that'll fix it not starting off the key or really doing anything off the key.
Yeah.
Unless the battery was dead, because I was over here yesterday and I just turned it to on and it didn't do anything.
Your dad pulled the terminal off the battery.
Well, that's stupid. We need to fix the water pump leak. Brakes, I keep forgetting about brakes. It'd be nice to do something with the exhaust, but that's not crucial. And something with the fuel system, because right now it has the stock like TBI tank, and that pump makes like 9 to 13 pounds, and it has a carb on it, so that's no bueno. But yeah, when we got it, this steering column wasn't hooked up. There wasn't any bolt connecting the linkages, so we're just going to get it pushed over to the garage, make a list of all of the essentials, and then start trying to knock out as much as we can. For the most part, most of it's wiring. Alright, I'll move the dump truck and then get the quad and we can push it over to the garage. I love this old dump truck so much, even though I always forget where the key is. Back into gear so it doesn't roll. I wish I knew why they spray painted the bulldogs on it.
I know. Maybe that's part of the story of this truck. That's weird.
Yeah, they're both completely empty. Oh, I was hoping there's a little more than that. So the guy he got it from Indiana. Right there's the Missouri inspection sticker from 2000. Alright, so we're just gonna get this thing lifted up and see where the brakes are leaking, try and get that knocked out first. So I can already see something leaking there. Not sure if it's water or brake fluid though.
Or gas.
Yeah, because the brake line crosses over right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see where someone like hacked the collectors off the primaries for who knows why.
Dude, those are hookers.
Ladies of the night. But yeah, the frame on it's really not bad. Everything I can see of the brake line looks good, but I can't see up here all that well.
Oh. Your flashlight.
Gotta loop around here.
We gotta find a wet spot. See it? Up in there?
Yeah, I mean, like I was looking at the frame here, you can see where it's been soaking a little bit.
Well, that's where almost 100% positive there. That's where it's leaking. The front looks fine.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that is the only spot. It's weird that both sides of the master were dry.
Yeah, that's true.
Alright, we dropped it down and we put some brake fluid in it and tested it just to see if the front was leaking at all, if we could get by with just pinching the back off for now. And the front is definitely leaking. Might not be able to see it on camera, but it is spraying right on the header there. There you can see a little bit of a wet spot. So that's no bueno. Alright, start pushing it. There's a small weeping because they have like a rubber section connected to it, but it's kind of holding-ish. I don't know why they put fucking rubber on it. Alright, Chris is in there trying to take the steering column apart in there because the thing from the column, it wouldn't shift into gear, and that is because if you look here on this, as you move the shifter here, see how it moves that arm? On the one in the truck, this piece is all broken, so this just flops around. So we might be able to just steal this shifting mechanism off this and transfer it over. So it looks like it's just a couple bolts, and then I think all we'll need is this piece though, like this actual part there. None of this other stuff we have to take off. So I should be able to loosen this arm, take that off, and then unbolt that, and the thing should come apart the way we need it, hopefully. If not, worst case scenario, we can actually get to the shift cable now, so we can just shift it like by hand by moving the physical cable itself instead of the shifter. Not an ideal way to do it, but it works. It works. And then for the fuel system, if we have to, we'll just run this boat fuel cell that the guy threw in with the truck. Just mount it in like the corner or something over there, and then run some line, because this has a mechanical fuel pump on it and an electric in-tank pump. See, and it's just blocked off over there. Because the issue is carburetors like to be like around 6 to 8 psi of fuel pressure, and that in-tank pump is going to be like 9 to 13, which is too much. It'll start like blowing past all the gaskets and seats and stuff like that, and then you'll flood it, or just spill gas all over the engine and catch on fire and die when it gets onto the when it gets on the header. So we'd like to avoid that as much as possible. So once we get the shifter figured out, that shouldn't take too much longer. I think we can actually get that fixed relatively quickly. We just have brakes. We know what's wrong with them. We just have to run new lines, which is tedious. We might have to go get a couple lines and some brake fluid. We know how to, we have a way to rig up the fuel system. Not ideal, but again, it'll work. And then after that, we need to figure out why it won't start off the key. Could just be something disconnected at the starter. Haven't looked at that just yet. We have a hot wire to the distributor because that wasn't working. And then we have to rig up a throttle linkage, which you might just have to make some sort of bracket or something for that. We're closer than it seems, to be honest, but it's just tedious little tasks that'll probably take way too long. So I think I'm going to just turn the camera off and try and actually get some stuff done, and then turn it back on when I got something worth updating. Alright, so here is the shift mechanism that we pulled out. You can see where it's broken there. So it just wasn't even allowing, I mean, that literally just fell off. So we were just going to try and replace this piece because this is what we thought was broken. And then once we started digging into it more, we saw that the main part, like the main mounting bracket itself was broken. So we just unbolted this, and then off that spare steering column we had, we just pulled that off. We can actually shift now. While I was doing that, Chris pulled off that massive 830 Demon and is in the middle of putting on this Edelbrock that we know works. It's much more appropriately sized for the engine. Is this a 600 or a 650?
600.
Yeah, it's still much closer to what the engine will want. Like a 350, 355 that probably won't go over 6 grand. Likely stock bottom end engine with a cam. We don't know about the heads. We know it has an aluminum intake, a Y-end, I think Street Warrior, Street Avenger, something like that. Street Warrior. I think everything's pretty much done in here. The wiring to the key seemed fine. We just got to find what's going on down by the starter. And then it'd be nice if it was just a wire that wasn't connected or something. But for now, before we're going too far, I'm going to leave the dash apart just in case. So we're getting there. It's just got to go through and knock things out one at a time. So as soon as Chris gets back with the 9/16, I'm stealing this throttle bracket off. I'm hoping it'll work. It should come pretty dang close to working. I think the intakes will have similar mounting points. And we might see about stealing this throttle cable too. That's why you should always buy 2 trucks so you can have a parts truck. Alright. 1 throttle linkage bracket. Carb's on. That's all hooked up. Throttle cable's hooked up. Got a brake booster line on. Should be tight enough to not worry about any vacuum leaks. Got a fuel system just running to the mechanical pump. We have no idea where the timing is. I guess let's crank it over and see what happens. Let me... Alright.
Yeah, there we go.
Hey.
Great.
Can't really see with that light. There we go.
Where you shim to?
That was for the other truck.
Oh.
Ready?
Yep. Might be out of gas. Yeah, I thought I was hearing spark knock for a second.
What's that burning over there? Oh, is that brake fluid?
Yeah. The only things left on the list are like an actual starter button, or find out why it's not starting on the key, fix the brakes, hook up the fuel cell that's in the bed, and we might be able to actually drive it around.
And if we get to an exhaust.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Alright. Oh, and the water pump. We knocked out a good chunk of the list. Got the steering column fixed, swap carbs, brake booster line, throttle linkage for now.
Well, that's what we should have seen if it would do.
Work off the pedal.
Well, that and shift gears. So what do I need for tomorrow? Fuel line.
Yeah, fuel line, brake line, we can run and get that.
I'll stop and grab a push button. You got a spare set of plug wires right there.
Yeah, between the two sets we should be able to make a good one.
Yeah.
New plugs would be nice. We might be able to use the old ones out of Jack Black. I think those were still good.
Well, even if that, I can grab the plugs out of the Jeep motor.
Yep, so it might not seem like it, but we, the truck doesn't need a whole lot. It just needs a bunch of little things. So we got a good chunk of it knocked out today. He's got to run to work. It's like 1 right now. So, as tempted as I am to continue screwing with this, and I'm sure he wouldn't mind if I did all the brake lines, but I think I might wait for him. I don't know. We'll see. Alright, it is the next day. Yesterday we didn't film much and just busted ass on some things. Got the water pump resealed. Hopefully that's not going to leak anymore. I started wiring up a push button because I was tracing the wires from the starter and they just get lost in this clusterfuck of wires. So I'm just wiring a push button right to it because the key turns on all the accessory power and everything like that. So I'm just gonna direct connect the starter. Last night I stayed late, put all new brake lines on the thing aside from like the rubber sections, but the only lines left that are stock are the ones from the master to the ABS, but from the ABS out, everything is all new. So I think the only thing that this guy and I have left to really do today are swap the headers from the other truck, which he got pulled off yesterday, and throw the rest of the exhaust system on it, if it fits, which it should. Best try. Oh, fuel system. Yeah. We got to run a line. We got a fuel cell just sitting in the back. We'll just run a line up to this mechanical pump.
I see at least one part store run in our future today.
Well, I think we better get to it then.
Probably should.
Alright, got the passenger side header off, and here you can see kind of why we're replacing it, because for whatever reason they just cut the collector right the heck off. I have no idea why they would do that, aside from just making it a race truck, I guess. But these are the ones off the the rusty truck from the last video. A little narrow flange, but like that's one thing. Ooh, that flange is wavy as heck. Can you guys see that on video? You go surfing on that flange. These ones are thinner, which you usually don't want, but at least it's straight. And they have a raised section right there to help seal it a little bit better too. I don't think this side's gonna work at all.
Oh yeah, it's gonna hit right on the starter.
Not even that, the frame rail won't let it go into place enough.
Oh.
Okay, so those headers aren't gonna work, so we threw the ones that were on it back on, and we tightened them up better than they were before, because like this back one on both sides was just finger tight. Tried to seal it as best we can. It looks pretty flat now. So now he is just redoing some of the plug wires so that we hopefully don't have to go buy a set, and I'm starting on the fuel system, and we're just using this boat fuel cell that came with the truck. And I'm gonna do a little piece of rubber line, and then wherever I put, got some hard line that we're gonna run along the frame up to the mechanical fuel pump right here, and then just rubber line it back in. And hopefully that should be good. It seemed like that pump was working the other day. He just finished up with the wiring for the starter button, disconnected the ignition because only half of the new plug wires are done. Now we're going to test it and see if the button works, if it spins it over. Alright. Alright. Yep. Well, sounds like it tried at least. Yeah, we'll let the battery charge for a second. Does it feel like home in there?
You know what I just realized though? Unless they got a transmission controller.
I think the stock ECU is all still hooked up. We'll find out. It works.
Sweet.
That told us all we needed to know. It's cranking the engine over. So this is a 97, right? This is a 97 C1500, so it had a 4L60 in it. I think 93 was the first year that they actually designated them a 4L60E. So that's all electronically controlled. So if they cut the wrong thing, that could be like completely screwed. If it comes to it, I say we just find a Turbo 400 and throw in it. It's gonna be a race truck.
Yep. Race truck priority. If I take it out on the road, fuck it.
I have to go turbo and do a really tall gear like a 308 or 323. Keep it drivable. I mean, you got plenty of room for turbos.
Oh, that's what I love about these OBS trucks, dude. There's so much room in here.
Yeah.
Dude, I was servicing a 6.7 Power Stroke the other day.
Mm-hmm.
There is no room to spare.
Oh man, they fucking pack them. All right, so I just have to finish up this side of the wires. Over there is all done. I guess for now we could just throw the AC back on it and use that belt. So the main things, we just have to throw some fuel in it. Fuel system's all hooked up. Well, 2 hose clamps. Bleed the brakes, throw a belt on it, finish up the plug wires, charge the battery, and then it should fire up, idle. Might be able to actually move it around. And I'm gonna do all that after you go to work.
Dude. Just don't do any burnies without me.
I don't know if I can make that promise, but I'll try.
At least don't destroy the tires without me.
Alright, that's fair. That's fair. Chris had to take off to work, but I got a few things finished up with the help of OG Papatron. And I think we are ready to actually start this thing from the inside of the truck. So key on, that'll power the distributor, gauges all light up. Ready? I'm gonna pump it a couple times. Stiff pedal. Battery's pretty dead.
Battery sucks.
Yeah, it's probably seen better days.
Switch it with this other battery. I'm not saying this one's any better, but I don't know.
Alright, so we got new plugs, new plug wires, glasses are falling. Finished up the fuel system, ran a new line under the truck, steel for most of it. Ran a new wire to the starter. That's working off just a push button you might have seen. Found a spot in the engine bay fuse box that was switched on and off with the key, so that's the hot wire for the distributor. New oil, new filter. There's no water in it right now. Let's see what else. We have a whole list somewhere, but I think we've got pretty much everything knocked out. The only thing that I can think of left to do is bleed the brakes. But I think we're ready to try and start it again. And we don't have the tack hooked up yet. You think try it?
Try it.
This is a stiff pedal, too stiff.
Distributor's just sitting there turning.
So we got to lock down the distributor. Completely forgot about that. It's on the list, forgot about it. And we can't check the timing. There's no timing indicator on it. I mean, there's like a mark on the balancer, but there's no like strap or anything on the front cover, so we have no way to verify where timing is really. So we're basically just going to set it up with wherever the engine sounds like it likes it, and then we'll pretty much just leave it, I think, because it's Chris's truck, so he's probably gonna want to be driving it. I'm probably gonna take it down the road, but maybe do a burnout. Are you working the throttle?
No.
Oh, let me try and pump it then.
I wonder why you weren't pumping it or not.
This pedal sucks. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to figure out something different with that throttle, because the cable...
Get some gas dumped in the car until it primes it up.
Yeah. I think we're gonna have to figure out something different with that cable, because right now it's wound too tight and it's just making that pedal a pain in the ass. Well, all this work the past few days and we are sabotaged at the last minute by the wrong water pump. You see, here's a normal like small block Chevy style water pump. If you look here, it has one hole here, one hole here, and then there's a little one right here. The water pump that is on the engine does not have that. It just comes down and loops around. So every time we poured water in it, it just went right out this hole of the block. And this is one we just have laying around. We have no idea if this is any good or not. I can't imagine we would keep a bad one, but that's not the point. The point is, I'm tired, so I'm gonna go home. Today's Friday, Roadkill night started today. We're gonna try and make it out there tomorrow. The way it's looking right now, I don't know if we're gonna be taking old Clifford here, but I definitely think that's gonna be it for today's video. I'm tired, so I'm gonna go home and enjoy my weekend, well, my Friday for a little bit. And then probably in the morning, we'll head out and start bombing to Roadkill nights. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. It's always fun to like change things up every now and then. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. We'll see you next time.
Perfect.